How did your class ever make the teacher cry? What happened? When I was in middle school, we had an older teacher with a larger body and very thin legs. As such, she somewhat resembled a hen. It didn't help that she had a bit of a sagging underchin, shorter hair that looked like the top of a chicken's head, and a very pronounced nose. We had a new kid in class who appeared to have been held back a few times and had now landed in that class. The guy was an asshole in general, but the day he called her a chicken and then proceeded to mimic a clucking chicken, complete with arm wings, made me realize that she was probably either aware of the likeness and may have dealt with people joking about it before. She immediately started crying and fled the room. Instruction was taken over by one of the vice principals for the rest of class, who used that time to admonish us on the dangers of being jerks. Later in college, I was taking an anthropology elective in an auditorium-sized lecture hall. The professor had a very thick Indian accent, but was still very much understandable. During a lecture on dialects and the concept of texts, she commented about how these can lead to miscommunications between different regional groups. And one student yelled from the back of the lecture hall, "Oh, so it's hard when you can't understand what the fuck someone is saying?" The professor got quiet for a moment before muttering, "I have no words. Class is dismissed." She gathered her stuff and left the lecture hall. I felt so bad for her. The next lecture, some higher up in her department came along and addressed the class about how that level of disrespect was absurd at an institution of higher learning. I'm not even sure if the guy who said it was there. I had a few takeaways from these incidents. First, as shitty as middle school kids can be, nobody joined in on the joke with asshole number 1, and asshole number 2 caught a lot of "what the fuck is wrong with you" looks in the lecture hall. Second, in the case of the college professor, her level of professionalism was astounding. The next class, after the higher up was done talking to us, she continued as if nothing had happened. Even when it happened, she gathered herself enough to properly dismiss the class. It was inspirational in a surreal kind of way.